This is the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. Now, here are your hosts, Cody, Kyle, and Ken.
And welcome back to another episode of Off the Break Podcast. I'm so glad to be here. We're at the end of our week again.
I'm so glad to be here too.
Yeah. It was.
I gotta say.
It wasn't like as bad as last week, but man, Monday and Tuesday this week were rough for me. Like there was a pretty disappointing box office last weekend, and in some regards, Bullet Train did great, and I'm so loved it. You know, when we went and saw it for the early show, so I was not surprised by its success.
Why did Top Gun Maverick finally drop off?
Nope, that's still doing great.
It made another 10 million
Yeah.
in its 12th week.
No, just Easter Sunday, just crash and burned.
Yeah,
just, so bad.
Well,
people
bad.
were also way too harsh on Bullet Train.
They were. Yeah, I don't know what they were expecting.
Like from box office point of view and from like a critical point of view. Like I don't get it. That movie was great.
Yeah, I think it'll hold up just fine because I think the word of mouth was good on it. Although I did hear from a couple locations that people came out either really loving it or really hating it, and I'm like, what could you possibly hate about that movie?
People are so judgmental now.
And
I know.
It was violent, but it wasn't that. I didn't think it was that violent.
I didn't think it was like Mortal Kombat blood cloud violent.
Yeah, it's just probably blood and swearing is why it was rated R. But it was probably like PG-13 violence. Fun PG-13
Well, let's
violence.
talk about the real bloodbath, which was Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh,
We feel bad for that movie.
I need to see that to find out what is going on with it.
You can't have a movie with a holiday in the title and not release it on the holiday.
That's true.
It does not work.
That's number one.
Or a holiday-themed creature not near that holiday. I'm looking at you, Sony.
A movie with rabbits has to come out at Easter.
Easter.
A movie with reindeer has to come out at Christmas.
And a movie with the title Easter Sunday should probably come out around Easter.
And the sky is blue.
Penguins, Yetis, those are all winter releases.
Yep.
Easy.
Thanksgiving,
Lions are summer
Christmas.
releases.
Yep.
Lions
Pretty
would be a
straightforward.
summer movie. What would be a fall animal? Like a squirrel?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say like a woodland critter.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
Anything that is orange and brown.
Like
Anything
a
Halloween
bear.
related. Yeah.
Like a fox?
Yeah.
Bear, fox, woodland critter.
Okay. So that anime movie, Open Season, perfect fall movie.
Yeah.
No idea if it released in the fall, but it
That
would do great
Fox
there.
and the Hound.
Those are the only fall-related animal
over
movies.
the hedge.
Over the hedge, yeah.
The Nut Job. Those are all fall releases.
Fall releases.
There we go.
Agreed.
Well, we got to talk about the only new release change that we have this week.
Yeah, we had an addition from Paramount. They announced Sonic the Hedgehog 3 to come out December 20th, 2024. They're wanting this to be a Christmas title, which is that
I
a
love
Christmas
that.
animal?
No, Sonic is a spring movie.
I know Sonic is a spring movie, but I think they're trying to step up. They're crowding around. You need an animated title at Christmas. They're crowding it out right now. They're just staking their claim.
The first one way outperformed expectations in a February release.
Yeah.
The second one outperformed the first one in an April release.
Right.
And before and
Open this
after a
in the
pandemic.
Yeah.
Dear God, Paramount, change your mind and open this in the spring.
I also wouldn't
it
really
could
be
get-
shocked if this did get changed anyway. Like this is 2 years out. Who knows what's going to happen?
It seems so silly when you have a tried and true program. This would be like Top Gun Maverick Part 2 releasing anytime other than Memorial Day or the 4th of July.
Right.
Like if you pick any other date, you're screwing this up.
Top Gun Maverick Part 2.
Top Gun Mavericks.
Mavericks, plural. Coming out in March 3rd for some reason.
Top Gun Maverick. The dead don't die.
We're still on board with this Top Gun multiverse.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
We had this pitched a few weeks ago. And we're still on board with it. No bad decisions here.
Top Gun Bob.
In big block letters.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only noteworthy change, even though it's 2 years out. But it was just interesting because of that December date that they put.
Yeah. As far as booking strategies, my August still looks rough. I mean, having Easter Sunday underperform the way it did really hurt things. Like, I kind of was hoping that would last like 3-4 weeks. Like it's not going to last more than 2. It's just, it was so bad. And I really place the blame on this, like without having seen the movie. That's my caveat. Without having seen the movie, I really place the blame on the marketing, because it was PG-13. It was a comedy, and it had a pretty well-known comedian headlining it. So we kind of were worried about this going into Easter Sunday, that they were not marketing it well. And I think that shows, because it shouldn't have just been Filipino audiences. I assume that this film, just like his comedy, transcends that concept of family. So it's not just like it's funny because it's a Filipino family. It's funny because you probably have people in your family that act like that, and that
Right.
And I just think that message got lost in all of this, and it's probably because they had so many releases, Universal did, in the summer corridor, that they didn't have enough time or energy in their marketing department to be able to concentrate on each film and give it its due marketing.
No, we ran into this with not wanting to come off of films that were performing well.
Yeah.
And arguing about dates that were, I mean, Universal and Focus had 10 titles in as many weeks.
No, not that many, but
It was, I
it
mean,
felt
felt
like
like
it.
it.
Yeah.
since Downton Abbey, they were on a run.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or Firestarter, maybe. It just was like, it felt like there was one new film from Focus Universal every week, and they were crowding each other out.
And I can't even imagine with the marketing department. Like, where do you put your spend? Obviously, you want to keep Minions going. That was a big one. Black Phone Under the Table was doing really well and have found its place. Like
With Jurassic World
Jurassic,
opened.
yeah,
and
you want to keep that. That was your big
went
franchise.
huge. Yeah.
And so it just didn't have any time or energy to focus to this. And this really needed it. This was a slightly confusing concept that you needed to like really hash out and get the word out about it.
Yeah, and it's also frustrating because we've seen, a comedy like The Lost City be able to perform for as long as it did. Like, it was a very good movie, and people were engaged by the advertising to come out and see it. And I was hoping that could, get us rolling back into having comedies be in theaters. But Easter Sunday probably put a damper on having that be pushed forward.
Well, I think Lost City helped because there wasn't anything else around that time. That was March, and there just wasn't anything going on.
Yeah.
March into April, it was really light, and
It was early.
and the summer hadn't hit. We hadn't got Top Gun yet, so there was space, there was breathing room for it, and they had the ability to market it. And then it just found its convenient matinee time and just held on forever. I mean, it really performed well, had long legs, and I really saw Easter Sunday being very similar to that. But it was such a crowded time for this to come out that I think it just got lost in the shuffle of everything, and without any interest and consideration and money spent behind the marketing on it, it just really underperformed for us, which was a shame.
Yeah, I still think the release date was the biggest issue.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it didn't even matter if it was crowded at this time. If Easter Sunday was the only movie that opened in the month of August, it still would have been the wrong time.
Right.
Still wouldn't have drawn.
Right.
I thought this was supposed to come out in like the spring corridor initially.
Yeah.
And it was like months ago when they pushed this back, so I can't really recall what it was, but I think it was in the springtime, and I feel like it
can't
was a
imagine
little
that this
crowded, but maybe it could have done
I can't
well.
imagine this was planned anywhere originally other than late March, early April.
Yeah, because it's in the title.
Yeah.
It's just so unfortunate.
Yeah,
'Cause,
no kidding.
I mean, the reviews are not bad. We're not seeing scathing reviews about how it's
There's
a waste
nothing,
of time.
or there's not a scene in it that's just that the critics or anybody is picking on, is like, don't go watch this film. Like, there's no pet grooming or whatever it was that we've
But
heard
we-
of the controversies of the last few
But
movies.
we do know that horny Tiffany Haddish is worth a $5 million opening on her own.
Just on her own.
That was, I mean, if your movie you think could open to 40, 45 million at Tiffany Haddish, you're looking
over
at
the edge.
You're looking at 50 million opening.
There
Right.
you go. So I think as far as my strategies is just hold on to whatever is getting people in the door right now, and that's
Top Gun.
Top Gun. It's Where the Crawdads Sing. It's Elvis to a certain extent. Those three films are just really are consistently grossing well. They've found they're laying their showtime and they're holding strong in that.
And it's more parroting from us.
Yeah.
Limit showtimes, limit days open.
Yep.
Really streamline your business.
Yep. It's going to really be pulled back and fall off the cliff here. I mean, we're going to have some Beast should do better. And I expect Beast with Idris Elba to do more than Easter Sunday. Although I thought Easter Sunday had a more friendly rating and I thought that was going to help more. I think Beast will be a little bit of a bump.
Everything should do better than Easter Sunday.
There's a very good chance of
they had
that.
a film from a top 5 that opened number 8, and it was a wide release.
That's just so sad.
It's crazy.
Just so sad. It should never be like that.
No, definitely not. Although I gotta say, it's real. I mean, at this point, obviously, no surprise for Top Gun continuing to do well. But Elvis and Where the Crawdads thing, I wasn't expecting that movie or either of those movies to be going for as long as they have. So that is pretty impressive, and you should try and get those.
Yeah, Crawdads already passed 3x in as many weeks from its opening, which is awesome.
No, they play to that older adult demographic that we were really afraid is not going out. Now, they are going out, but they're going out for more safe commercial titles. They're not going out for the art house picks, the indie picks. They're going out for something they've heard is good, the value is there, and they want to see it. And so
you think this weekend is going to be down with Mac and Rita, Bodies, 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 and Fall?
yes.
Sounds like a winner to me.
What we're seeing now is we're entering the territory of the small print counts.
Yes.
So there are new movies coming out, but they are so limited in their availability that it's like, is this even going to be a blip on the radar at all?
And I'm going to say it, to open a movie called Fall, not in September or October, huge mistake.
Come on, people.
It's not hard here. I mean, it's in the title, guys.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get it off the break in September, so I'm positioning it perfect.
You're
on
doing
my
the right
bookings.
thing.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing.
Really doing the Lord's work, Cody.
Yeah. Just do what I can for the theaters.
You kind of fell into that one.
I did.
At first, it was a pity laugh for me, and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, that's a pun. I get that one."
So that's kind of I'm just gonna take it week by week. Hopefully, I don't have another Monday like this week. That sucked a lot, and I stress ate the rest of the week to get over it.
Well,
we got to get over that.
Yeah, we've got 3 topics left. Let's do a business sandwich here.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be fun today.
I don't want to start with the crazy or end with the crazy, but let's kind of sandwich it in between our 2 more serious topics.
Okay. Well, let's start with Disney. That has been making the news all week. They had a shareholders call, investors call, and they came out with a few big takeaways. For me, they were talking about their streaming platform, and basically the domestic market, the U.S. North American market, is tapped. And I think we all kind of know that. I mean, everybody has pretty much a Prime account, a Netflix account, a Disney Plus account. It's tapped.
They've been around long enough to where someone has heard of it and or has it.
And I think this does not bode well for the lesser streaming services. If Disney is tapped and starting to increase they're starting to see an increase in their churn rate, which is their dropping of the subscriptions. I mean, how's Peacock ever going to survive in this environment?
It's going to survive with international soccer. I mean, that's one of the few things that and hockey, I think it has.
They also have wrestling.
Oh yeah, they have
boxing, wrestling, those types.
WWE wrestling.
Yeah, so they got their money on lock.
Yeah. The real oiled up kind.
So the domestic market is tapped. A lot of subscribers have more than one subscription, and an economic strain, it's really surprising. There is so much chatter about a recession happening in the next year, at least a significant economic downturn that everybody is kind of bracing for. I mean, we're really seeing that in the tech industry with layoffs. Like, they're laying off 20% of their workforces. And so there's this expectation of this downturn coming up. And is that going to, put a strain on this number of subscriptions? Who's going to lose out on this? Are they going to add any more? What kind of content goes onto it to keep subscribers? I think are all questions that are going to reflect on the movie theaters.
Well, you know how Disney's handling this as a company when it comes to people out and about, like at their physical Walt Disneyland parks.
Yeah.
Raising prices from $149 to $164 per park per day,
Wow.
per person.
Wow.
So they're raising prices
Yes,
to handle this.
they are.
HBO Max via Warner Brothers, via Discovery is cutting costs
And raising prices.
and raising prices.
Yeah, it's basically the end of the cheap entertainment era, whereas they're just trying to get subscriber growth is over. Now they want to really squeeze those subscribers for revenue. Now it's about increasing revenue per subscriber on that. And what they're trying to do is split into a higher tier, more expensive subscription and then a lower tier ad supported subscription, which is interesting because the ad supported tier, so many more people now stream their content. There's more eyeballs on the streaming. So now they're going to go out to companies and sell ads, but it's going to be super targeted ads because they have so much household data now from the streaming.
There's this idea that they're going to sell ads, but they're going to promote only Disney products. They're not going to actually sell ads.
Right.
It's going to be Disney Channel doesn't sell anything other than Disney on their channel. When we watched that with our kids, there was no other products. It was just like, this is Disney World. This is on later. This is buy this Mickey Bounce House. Like it's just a self-serving interest. And that's what it's going to do. I mean, hopefully it's going to promote the theatrical experience some by showing previews of films when they have a dedicated audience that's in Disney's world.
Right.
And then like, here's the next movie we have coming. But I see this more as promotion for the parks, promotion for merchandise, promotion for their streaming product.
Apparently, if you watch Hulu, I agree with you on the Disney Plus platform, but if you watch Hulu, it's all going to be like medical ads. Like, you have this weird strange disease. We have a pill for that.
It's true. They have those.
It's like
I can
the
concur.
only kind of ad they have. It's ridiculous. It's like, this is neutral still. Like, we're not getting too political if we do these, dermatitis medicine ads.
They're not the same as the classic Life Alert commercials, but they're about on brand.
Do not take Lavoxaquil if allergic to Lavoxaquil.
Yeah.
Or death.
How do you find that out? How do you know if you're allergic to one medication that exists that's brand new?
There's got to be tests out there, right? We
They
hope
just
that it's
take
tested.
it and die, and they're like, "See, told you were allergic to Lavoxaquil."
Yeah.
How did you not know that? I don't know. How can I?
Yeah, no, I mean Disney via Hulu, ESPN, they have to sell ads. They can't just promote their own thing all the time.
Right. So they will have ads.
But Disney is so multifaceted and so kid heavy that you have to promote
family
those things.
and kid heavy.
It would be a waste of time to promote anyone else because you're not getting that benefit. Even if it's cash on hand, but all the horse trading, the writing off of things, it's a much better model for them. I mean, they've used it forever since they've had Disney Channel.
So I think how maybe theaters fit into this kind of narrative is, even in that investors call, they talked about theatrical being an important revenue stream. Like, they are committed to theatrical. They know it brings value, and they know that their churn rates, won't be as affected if they have content of value on there. And you get that by having movies go through movie theaters, and it creates cultural awareness. It adds more to it. However, I'm just concerned about, if we go into a recession and they pull back production budgets and stuff, or, their whole content plan relies so heavily on certain franchises. Like, you build the world now of your franchise. So the Star Wars world or the Marvel world or the DC world, like, they're just like, we build worlds around everything. But if you have 6 TV shows of Star Wars before you ever make another Star Wars movie, and you've over exploited the supply side of it, and that decreases the demand when it finally does go to theaters, what does that mean for the theater? What can the theater expect? Like, are we still going to pay the same terms when we're not getting billion-dollar movies anymore? Are we going to pay the same terms when we don't get the marketing? Because the marketing budgets now are split between theatrical and streaming. I feel like these are really big questions, and I'm not sure if the market can correct this. Like, historically, I don't think that we've really got market forces haven't got to play in this industry that we have, because it's so different and kind of convoluted, and you're showing somebody else's product, and it's tough. But I mean, those are, I feel, really serious questions that especially if we have an economic downturn.
Will you stop being so negative? We have Avatar, we have Puss in Boots, we have Top Gun Mavericks
I'm
coming.
not talking about this year. I'm talking about
Aquaman.
in the next couple of years. This is long range forecasting here.
Paws of Fury 2, The Return. We have so many films upcoming. You know, yes, there's going to be a downturn. But even in 2008, 2009 with the Great Recession, we did not see a massive drop in theater attendance.
Right.
Because people need to escape the horribleness. During World War II, theater numbers were up across the world.
Right.
Because people needed some escapism. So we are here to drown out the bleakness.
That's true.
With our high resolution projections.
I was on a conference call, and they were talking about how an economic downturn could affect the cinema industry. And I wanted to be like, in every recession so far, the cinema industry has been fine, because it's still a very valuable, like, cost-effective entertainment solution. And the big thing is outside of the home.
During the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, they added color to film. and released Wizard of Oz, which is one of the, like, adjusted for inflation, one of the biggest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Now that I've heard that out loud, that's actually wild. Like, during the Great Depression,
yeah, they were spending money on technology
and made movies in color. Like, during one of the worst times in history, not something great came out of it, but something happened at the same time that ended up being really great for cinema and escapism. So I don't know, you saying that out loud just was like, holy crap.
No,
that's
and I
amazing.
think cinemas will survive this. That's what I was saying. I think they'll survive. And yeah, it's going to be tougher this go around, because streaming is now a cheap competitor for entertainment. But it's entertainment in the home, and you can only stand to be locked in that house, as we know from the pandemic, for so long before you need to do a form of entertainment outside. And you're probably not going to be going to amusement parks with $165 entry fees, and you're probably not going out to dining where they can't get servers and everything's super expensive. So I feel like movies are still a great option and a great experience for that.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm looking at the numbers right now for the annual box offices. 2009 was the highest box office year on record up to that point. And it was the highest until 2015. I mean, that was a winter of despair for a lot of folks. I mean, I think it was like 3 or 4 million families lost their houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest year for the next 5 years of movie-going attendance.
And 5 years, that's impressive.
Bring it
Streaming
on.
hadn't been a
Bring
thing
it on.
yet.
Yeah, you can't watch streaming if you don't have a house, right? Like, you could still always go to the movie theater.
You
Yeah.
can't spell
A little dark, but yes.
You can't spell incredible ticket sales without recession.
Let's not think about it too much.
Let's not
but
think about it too much.
that's a bit too many letters. Yeah, so there you have it, folks.
So yeah, more domestic market tapped out.
From Ken Greenspan.
So if the domestic market's tapped out and they're not adding anything, is this going to be our new normal now? Is this the new normal of our industry? Are we finally like, okay, they got all the streaming they're going to get, and then this is the reality of where the profit is and all that. So, and now they know they still need us. I mean, I feel like we're in a good place. I'm pretty like hopeful that we're, moving forward in a really good place. The doomsayers haven't been correct yet on that.
Yeah, we're definitely in a good place. But there's always something that will come next, and the status quo will try and be changed. But I'm not concerned about it, especially since we've come out of this pandemic, not fully, but at least to where, we can go out to businesses and theaters and whatnot. And seems like we've been able to prove that theaters are still a need for audiences to have their
Like
escapism.
we said, they are the hearts of communities. They really are. They're
Yes.
one of the last few places where, you know, a diverse nation can come together, where fractured nations can still come together and enjoy the same entertainment.
Definitely.
Looking at the yearly numbers too, we just passed 2021 for total gross. So we're
doing good.
And we have Avatar sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is definitely gonna help.
Yeah. No, I mean this is all good news. Like this,
Right.
it's a genuine upward swing. Where 2021, we had no idea.
No.
We had no idea if that was going to be the thing.
We talked a
Right.
good talk.
We did talk good.
We did what we had to do.
But that is
We said what we had to say.
that is
That's right.
crazy in hindsight, because we probably started feeling the most comfortable maybe when No Time to Die came out, or at the very least when Spider-Man came out, and that was in December.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we're in the middle.
And that's the
of
only reason
2022
that
like
number
this.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
because of Spider-Man.
Yes,
Spider-Man
yes.
I mean, it was
massive.
490.
Spider-Man and Top Gun combined, the bulk of their
Oh.
earnings in the same year. Just
Well, it wasn't
$2
the
billion.
bulk of Spider-Man's earnings. It opened to 200.
Okay,
Cody, it opened
sorry.
to 250 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of like what was the total though? The
600.
totals, 600. So it didn't open at Christmas. That's only like a
A
week.
few weeks before Christmas.
It did 572 million out of 804 million.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So it did 60%.
no, not even that much.
It's more than half.
Yeah, way more than half.
No,
Not good with the
You're not
alphabet, but the
wrong.
numbers speak for itself.
But I mean, without that being said, we've had so many $100 million openings
Right.
this year comparatively. It's
Yes.
not even close.
no, it's been really good.
And we're going to keep continuing this trend, even if we have.
I just think we're gonna see not higher highs than what we've seen, but we'll see really good highs. And I'm just concerned that we haven't felt out what product actually still works in theaters all the way, how to like sort it.
Sure.
So that's why we're seeing just a really low this month, and we'll get there. We'll get there back.
You don't
Yeah.
think Mac and Rita, starring Diane Lane, is going to blow the box office apart?
I thought it was Diane Keaton.
I think it's
don't-
Diane Keaton.
I don't know.
I mean,
One
they
of
all
those- one of
they
those
all blur
old
together after a while.
Dianes.
Diane Keaton. No, I don't think it's going to blow anything away. I think it looks cute, and I think the Crawdads audience, if they're looking for something different, might be
Yeah.
interested in that, and that's why I booked it in a lot of places. But I don't think you're going to see a real blip until maybe Beast. That's Super Dragon Ball Super.
Cody,
well.
let's see, what is the title? Let's
Dragon Ball Super some I can't remember the rest
She
of it.
got 4 of the 5 words.
She got close.
Yeah, I know that it's weird. It's Dragon Ball Super : Super something, and then I couldn't remember what the rest.
Dragon Ball
was.
Super, superhero.
Superhero. Okay, that's right.
You got to add the extra at the end.
I want to call it Super Broly. Like
'Cause
I
it's-
don't know why that's so stuck in my head.
I think
but-
the last
that
one
was the
called
last
that.
one.
Yeah, that's
so
why.
I think I'm just blurring them all together. But I think that one's gonna surprise people and do really well. And
Okay.
then 3,000 Years of Lonnie, and I'm a little worried that it's too upscale for most markets. So I think it'll have its place, but
Yeah.
let's see what else is. Oh, Invitation. Now, I think Invitation didn't look too bad, and I was pretty kind of excited for it. And I'm hearing that it might have a really friendly PG-13 rating. Like, it hasn't officially been rated yet, but at a PG-13 rating, oh man, that'd be great, because that's like a perfect teenager movie, and
Yeah.
that's who would be going at this time.
But we're hearing
I hope
about
it's a good one.
We're hearing about limited print counts, which lowers your box office
Yeah.
potential.
It
Yeah.
does. I mean, Sony's definitely not going wide with that. They're pulling back. It's just the time of year. I get it. But you know, we've had other PG-13 horror films come out at this time, and they've played they weren't huge grossers, but they were consistent, and that was good. And it played 6 to 8 weeks, and that got you through until like the October stuff, where then you got the big grosses and you're ready for something new.
Well, let's get into the roast beef and Swiss on this crazy sandwich.
Before we do that,
Oh.
though, I do want to say, in case of people are listening to the podcast, but they do want to chime in, our podcast is on YouTube. Just search for Off the Break Podcast. You should be able to find us. And leave in the comments section some of your thoughts or some of your opinions, because we want to hear back from especially those who work in the theater industry that are running the theaters, what they have to think about what we just talked about when it comes to Disney and how it relates to the theatrical experience.
Yeah, that's www.utoobe.com.
You can't miss it.
YouTube-y?
Also, don't listen to that.
Yeah, don't listen to that.
Anyway, yes. What is our next topic?
Okay. So speaking of franchises and exploitation, poor Warner Brothers is going through a heck of a time with their Flash movie.
Their own fault.
On the one hand, they have great test screenings. There's no way the new CEO is going to scrap this movie. He was pretty positive. It's getting good stuff. They're bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman 30 years later.
He said there's no way they're scrapping this movie. And then.
So I just want to lead with a positive tone first, and then their star of the movie, who is in pretty much every single scene and multiple character roles, I hear, is just gone off the deep end. Just crazy train. To Looney Town.
This happened all the way back in 2020, where I believe he might have been in like Iceland or Poland and drunkenly attacked a girl. And then we were like, that's not good, but hopefully
we're in a pandemic. Let's just forget about it. Everybody's going crazy.
Everyone's going crazy. Hopefully we can move past this. Still not great to do, obviously, but hopefully we can move past this. And then more stuff kept coming out about Ezra Miller, from things such as being arrested in Hawaii for second-degree assault to apparently being accused of grooming young children all the way back from like 2016. Oh, and he might also have a cult in Iceland? ?
Yeah. It was his behavior was cult-like in
and there was
gathering people around him.
A burglary in Vermont?
Yeah, all the way in May.
Broke into some abandoned, probably somebody's second home, and stole a bunch of expensive liquor. But of course,
stole alcohol. It wasn't like,
of course they have cameras. It's an expensive second home. Like, you're not gonna have cameras all over that place. Like,
and of all the things that
you can't afford alcohol.
It's like the Joker in The Dark Knight, but it's like a bunch of shitty misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Well, they're felonies now because it was expensive stuff he took if he is getting hit with a felony.
But but it's like this. Like, what is the end game plan here? Like, how do you control Gotham at the end of this?
Right.
Imagine
eventually he's going to take over like a nail salon on South 3rd Street.
Imagine Ezra Miller and then multiply them, and that's Gotham City.
I feel so bad. So, yeah, I mean, obviously he was on a run of having terrible, terrible mental health and making crazy decisions.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that currently he's doing that in this time frame, but that his actions have caught up with him, and it's created this narrative now, this like crazy
people have finally noticed.
Negative narrative, and he's like getting so close to being canceled that it's like, what does Warner Brothers do with their $200 million movie? And everybody's looking at the studio like, are you still going to put this out?
Are you going to address it at all? Or
like what? Why? I don't know why they need to go to somebody's boss and be like, hey, get your guy in line. Like, this kid obviously has issues, and
send them to a mental hospital, give them therapists or something.
So I think that they have a couple options with this. Obviously, I think if the movie was bad, that this would be a different topic, but
they have faith in it.
They have faith in it. They think it's going to be really good. So they're holding out. They're holding out to see what happens. Now, if he gets help, I think everybody likes a redemption story. So that might all work itself out. If he doesn't get help, I don't, what do they do with it? I don't think that they can just, trash it. I think.
Well, you can't put two $90+ million films on the shelf in 1 year.
I cannot imagine what that would do to the creative community, let alone
the creative community. But
your bottom
they're
line.
Always worried about shareholders and stock price, and you would think that if Batgirl didn't affect it like this,
with no controversies in it.
Yeah. It was just
apparently wasn't good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is not us like speculating. Like outlets are coming out saying that Warner Bros. Is considering 3 options to give Ezra the choice to get help and then possibly be part of the marketing in some sort of small capacity. Or if they don't decide to get help, then they'll move on with the publicity, release the movie in theaters, without Ezra at all in the marketing.
Right.
Or the third option is
Scrap
they
it.
possibly do scrap this movie.
Yeah.
I do have a fourth wild card option that hasn't been considered yet,
Yeah.
which is where Jason Momoa legally changes his name to Ezra Miller and does all the promotion as Jason Momoa, renamed Ezra Miller.
Just with
Yeah.
a wig.
No. Exactly the same.
Okay.
No different at all. And it's starring Ezra Miller. Well, his name also happens to be Ezra Miller. And they just ignore the fact that it's obviously not him in the movie.
Right. They're like, oh, he really slimmed down.
Just
shorter,
everybody's like,
slimmed down.
This is strange.
Yeah.
But
I guess-
everybody knows, like every going knows that crazy Ezra Miller is over here. And
Yeah.
this is buff Polynesian Ezra Miller. And then he can change his name back after the fact, but we all know what's going on. Like everybody knows what's happening in the tent, but we go anyway.
God, I don't actually hate that idea.
I know.
It would change the conversation. The initial
So much.
conversation would be, this person is crazy. Should we go see this crazy person in this movie? To, man, that's so funny that they just pretended as other guys, Ezra. Come on, let's go see
It's
this
not
movie.
outside the realm. It'd be one of those pop culture things. Like, remember in 2022?
Yeah.
when
Jason Momoa claimed he was Ezra Miller.
I don't know. With all the conspiracy theories and QAnon now, I think there's a whole huge audience that would believe that something happened. Like that is Ezra
They
Miller
hit him away
this whole
somewhere.
time.
you don't hide it at all. You
Right.
just
You
do
let
it.
You lean
let
into it.
You lean into it and you let the narrative like be created on its own. You just threw like a little rock in the pond and then you let the shimmers go where they may.
I don't hate this.
Yeah.
Darn it, that might actually make me see this movie.
It's a wild card.
know why
It
they
has
haven't
nothing
asked
to
us.
do. It literally doesn't change the product, but it changes the narrative around it.
I mean,
So much
marketing,
so.
marketing's a little stale anyway. It's like, oh, the commercial for the movie, and we need to be serious and giving only good things to say about the movie. Lean into it. Make a joke out of it in some way. Get him on board. Pay him a couple extra mil.
Jason Momoa, named Jason Momoa, is hot, but Ezra Miller is kind of like
Aloof.
Yeah.
sexier name, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jason's a regular name. What's an Ezra?
Intriguing.
I mean, maybe, and this is just for me, he grows a mustache. So you're not sure if it's Jason Momoa or not.
Just a big bushy one.
Oh, yeah, Tom
Yeah.
Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Just a caterpillar on the upper lip. And you're
Yeah.
like, that everything about that guy, including every single one of the tattoos, looks like Jason Momoa.
What if he cut his
but-
hair short like he used to back in the day, like in his Baywatch days? What if he had that short hair and
No,
Baywatch.
Cody, we're not going to take away all of his power here,
that?
okay?
Fine.
Let the guy keep the gorgeous locks. Come on.
Yeah, lose
are they-
100 pounds of muscle, Jason Momoa. And then come
they
Yeah,
back.
quit being
gorgeous?
so buff and muscular.
I'm sick of you like this.
Disgusting.
Yeah, can you just wear more clothes, please? Get out of here.
He can be shirtless too. Totally
Do you
fine.
think that they're gonna take? Right now, I feel like they're taking the death on the Nile approach. Like we just won't engage with this until we decide what happens down the road.
But that's why they
Death on the
pushed it
Nile
back a
didn't
year.
cost $200 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely true.
I do think that also suffered. Like I think Disney was right to not make that a big deal, but I think they suffered because they didn't know how to promote it in general, and it was coming out of the pandemic.
I just saw that there is going to be a documentary, I think on Amazon, like about Armie Hammer and the Hammer family, and I'm like, who cares?
About this,
I would
Like, I know
rather-
he was in the headlines, but who really
I
cares?
would rather watch a documentary on MC Hammer
Yeah.
than Army Hammer.
Yeah.
let the
You
guy.
gotta think
like
his
it-
life is way more interesting than Army Hammer. I'm handsome and I'm gonna be in movies and my family has money.
Yeah. At least with MC Hammer, you could be like, how much money did you blow?
On parachute pants.
Yeah. Like, who cares about Armie Hammer now?
All
Okay.
right. Out of the fun crazy roast beef, back to the rye toast.
What do we got?
Cody.
No, I think we're done. We were just gonna
Oh,
talk
okay.
Disney and
Open face sandwich today,
Yeah.
folks.
Ran
week-
out of bread at the end of the
let
pack.
the weekend be the gravy on top.
What kind of sandwich are
An
we
open
dealing
face
with?
sandwich
open
with
face-
gravy.
Aren't most open face sandwiches have gravy on top? Gravy is like the secret third.
They do now.
Yeah. That's what it was.
That's the podcast, folks. You're welcome.
Welcome to August. We're taking next week off.
We are.
Yes.
We're all going to be traveling and we'll be taking next week off, and then we're going to hit it hard on the end of August, and then we'll sum up how August went for all of us.
So maybe we won't miss much.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Still better than August 2020.
Yeah.
True.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Off the Break Podcast. Find us on all podcast platforms or at screeninsider.co. And be sure to like and follow our Facebook and Instagram pages at Off the Break Podcast.